So anybody who knows me on my low rent, very low sub channel knows that I'm not very much a fantasy guy. I concern myself much more with trying to make political videos and stuff, but there was a time when I did a lot of Game of Thrones videos because the show really pulled me in, lured me in. I was never much of a Star Wars guy. I never watched the Star Wars movies until here very recently. I knew a lot about them through pop culture, colloquially. I never really got into a lot of stuff. Anything that was fantasy kind of stuff, it just wasn't my thing. I was never a comic book reader or anything like that. Never a fantasy reader. But Game of Thrones really sucked me in with the politicking and the complex storylines, and it interested me very much from the first episode. Who is this Jon Snow guy, and why are they focusing on him so much? Hey, yes, I want to hear about his mother. What did Ned help you with 9 years ago? Why haven't y'all seen each other in so long? Who was Jon Arryn? Who really killed him? What's with these Lannisters? I wanted to know all of that stuff. As the seasons progressed, of course, most Game of Thrones YouTubers followed the same exact script. They were all mad about the same exact things and all loved the same exact things, and it almost always would tie back into, this is good because it's in the books, this is bad because it's not in the books. So mainly to give myself a reason to watch these episodes again, I'm going to do a series here, stupid shit that everyone loved in Game of Thrones. I'm going episode by fucking episode, seasons 1 through 4, maybe even 1 through 5. I'm going to do some research to find out where the books left off when D&D ran out of source material, because I never read the books. And I'm going to point out stupid shit that people pretended to love or just chose through confirmation bias not to notice because it was the source material and they couldn't go against their holy canon. Obviously, I'm being tongue-in-cheek here, and obviously I'll quibble about dumb shit that most people probably won't agree with, but it's going to give me a chance to watch the shows again, and I'm gonna kill some of my time instead of becoming a crackhead on a corner or something, just making some wholesome videos to have a little bit of fun. So I hope y'all enjoy them. If y'all don't enjoy them, y'all know y'all can yell at me. I don't give a fuck. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it started. So get ready for the epic ride of your life. But I would have loved some sit-up here. Where are they coming from? Who are they? What's happening in the world? Oh, it's a surprise. Okay, I mean, I'm willing to say this isn't stupid shit because it gets explained pretty early on. But I have this loud fucking family of fornicating cicadas in my ear right behind my head, and it sounds like they're screeching at me that post hoc explanatory context is an example of seriously bad writing. The epitome of D&D's dumb fuck kingdom of forcing the plot forward. Am I right? I'm not saying it was stupid shit for me. I'm just saying I've seen the same short of You'll Find Out Later scenes called stupid by the entire Game of Thrones review niche when it wasn't George. That is all. Now we get into some stuff that is just stupid. This is just stupid shit. What the fuck happened to all the body parts? I can see a torso crawling away, right? If it's got arms, or a hand inching itself a little forward, inch by inch into a gully, using its fingers, but a kneecap, elbow, thigh meat. This shit just grew magical legs and walked away, I guess. Oh, the White Walkers moved it? Of course they didn't. They always leave that shit out there so everybody else can find it. So the explanation is that it all somehow moved or got moved. This is a very stupid thing here. It's a huge plot hole. It's as dumb as Ramsay's hounds disappearing that everyone ignored in this episode because the rest of the shit was still awesome and because it was apparently Martin and not after they ran out of source material. But this is fucking stupid. The bodies don't magically fuse back together when he raises the dead. If a motherfucker got his arm chopped off and died, he rises back up and the arm's still laying there. Maybe it twitches around a little bit, but they don't magically coalesce. So what happened to the body parts? And how did this bitch get down? Zombie Storytelling 101, being Vladly impaled upon a stake is impossible to get off of. All bad attempts at humor aside, how did she get off? How did she physically manage to pull herself off of the implement of impalement? How? Did another zombie, did the thigh get up and pry her off of that? Just the random thigh meat? Is that how she got off of there? And why the fuck didn't Napoleon Dynamite of the Night's Watch get it too? Why leave him alive? And don't spin it as if the Night King wants people to know he's coming. He doesn't. Every time he attacks, it's by surprise. He doesn't leave a survivor to go foretell of his imminent arrival, go tell the people the story of Wild Bill. He don't do that shit. This is sacrificing logical consistency in the story to use as a plot device for the news about the White Walkers to make its way south of the wall. Another excuse for a winter is coming drop from the characters. And how the fuck is this happening? Why is this dude running out in the open green pasture, obviously well south of the wall, and getting caught? We know from the setup that they were very close to Castle Black when they encountered the White Walkers. They were coming through the tunnel. We know from the world that the other castles are far away and the only ones manned through which he could have went to escape south are Eastwatch and the Shadow Tower. So what's up with this? Did homeboy literally go 1,000 miles around all of the wall, scared for his life, with people chasing him? Oh, but he went back to Castle Black though, right? And then what? Didn't tell any of them and just fled away? Oh, so you say that's the more logical explanation. He went back through Castle Black.
I should have gone back to the wall and warned them, but I saw what I saw.
I should have gone back to the wall and warned them, but I saw what I saw.
Wrong. Wrong. He says it. He says that he didn't. How did he run? How did he get past the wall? This implies that there's not any wall, that anyone from the true north can just run south at any time they want. Again, it's just a way to force the plot forward without any logical consistency to the world, to the story. And it's also that Ned Stark, well, i.e. the audience, hears about the White Walkers, so we start to get some exposition scenes about who they are. It's stupid. It's a gross oversight in this story, and don't tell me that it isn't. Let's just get one thing clear right here. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, if you're a Game of Thrones YouTuber, you have fussed, griped, moaned, complained, bitched, wailed, whinged, and cringed at the concept of fast travel. You've called it unearned. You've called it rushed. You've called it stupid. Though primarily because the thought was that it was D&D and that George was out. But what about this? One second, we see Jon Arryn lying on the death table with his Stone Age Mr. Potato Head eyes. The very next second, a raven magically teleports to Winterfell. A few scenes later, when Robert Baratheon heads up north, it's not only said that it takes a whole month, but there's some cues to the passing of time along the way. So how far is it to Winterfell from King's Landing as the crow flies? 60 frames per second. Yes, I say that's stupid because everybody knows that fast travel is stupid in the latter seasons. But everybody missed it in the first season because the rest of the story around it was at least good. So it didn't stand out.
The other brother?
The Queen has two brothers.
There's the pretty one. And there's the clever one.
I hear he's a drunken little lecher, prone to all manner of perversions.
Clever girl.
This just makes me cringe. How many horny, drunken midgets are in Winterfell? No, wait. First, why are there brothels in Winterfell? This seems purely a plot device to show Tyrion's deviance, as it's going to be important to his arc at a later date, while it's still shitting all over Ned Stark's arc, and even Catelyn Stark being the Lady of Winterfell. You know, Ned and Catelyn, they hate these places and would never allow them to operate in the land under the warden say so. And don't give me shit about Ned's not allowed to set his own rules for the North. It wasn't the Crown trying to execute Jorah Mormont. It was Ned Stark specifically. This is stupid because it's implied that they're basically directly in Winterfell. Now, if it were a few towns over, up nearer the wall, okay, I get it. It makes sense then. But this is presented by Jaime's quick arrival once stepping foot inside the gates already, that this is just next door. Whoremongers operating right next door to the Honorable Ned Stark? Bullshit. It's a careless insert to set up Tyrion's arc and to create a new peripheral character while undercutting Ned's attributes. Unintentionally, because it was lazy to not think this through about having Tyrion in that brothel. It wasn't thought through. It's insulting to Ned. The verdict, stupid. Now let's get back to the whore being called clever.
Clever girl.
Because apparently drunk, horny imps are regulars at brothels. Clever girl. I thought y'all said Tyrion didn't say stupid shit until season 6 onward and was always such a genius early on. There's nothing clever about this. No need to boost her ego either, as Tyrion explains later on in the series about whores requiring payment. Again, it's a careless bit of writing to set the stage for another character, Raz, the clever thought. Though it's expressly at Tyrion's expense as a cunning deductive, shorter but at least a better accent than Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. This is really stupid to me. Maybe folks will disagree, but throughout the entire show, or at least the first season portraying the Dothraki as a conquering horde of barbarian savages, everyone else was lesser to them. Even when we get into the latter seasons and see all the former Khaleesi's in the House of the Dovahkiin, or whatever it's called, Dash Kalin, they're all still basically Dothraki, in appearance maybe. Why are his men okay with him marrying a foreign white girl? A little paleface. A girl they consider inferior, of a people they consider bait and useless fighters, and basically fancy lads and not warriors. If this is something Dothraki do in lore, or fleshed out in off-show context, it's stupid as hell to not have any exposition explaining that. Whereas they do have exposition to explain other stupid shit, like Dothraki weddings without at least 3 deaths are considered dull affairs. The way this sits, however, it's basically just a plot device to get Dany where she needs to go in the story, which is a huge disservice to the rich and colorful character of the Dothraki, and what might prompt their most famous call to take a pale-faced Westerosi wife and sire mixed children that the Dothraki might not even accept as their own. Wouldn't it be nice to have a little explanatory scene or two about why the Khal would do this? And for anyone who might argue that Khal Drogo wanted to marry her because he had designs on ruling the West or even going to the West, that never even entered his mind until that wine trader tried to kill Daenerys. Then he flipped out and wanted the people responsible. So yes, this is a stupid bit of writing and presentation to have a random ass wedding offering set up between two peoples who couldn't be more different. Catelyn Stark. Bastard whom I hate with the burning passion of 1,000 supernovas. Go out back where the practice dummies are and where no one, especially anyone from the royal family, will be able to see you. The living incarnation of my shame and insecurities. You must hide. Jon. Alright. Show. Now let's turn this into Grand Central Station because we need to cram a shit ton of exposition for future episodes into this pilot. So not only will Benjen show up for some well-timed exposition sessions for the audience's sake, but we also need Tyrion to come along. Look, maybe not so much stupid this is, but definitely rushed and overtly overly convenient set up just to push the plot forward and inform the audience about more of the story in a panicked shorthand way. Fix it by just showing that's Tyrion's trek from the brothel. If it is his trek from the brothel, then that does mean the brothel's like right beside the fucking main living quarters in Winterfell. Dude. Which goes back and makes what I'm saying definitely stupid, what I said previously. Lastly, look, Jaime and Cersei boning here is again the height of stupidity for me. Just another cheap and relatively lazy plot device to serve as a catalyst for the rest of the story, which in a storytelling sense is entirely understandable. An effect must have a cause. You have to write something that was the catalyst for the events. However, that does not necessarily mean that the cause of the eventual effect is consistent, coherent, logical, or even reasonable. After all, Jaime and Cersei were just fretting about what might happen if they were found out in King's Landing, a place they know intimately well. They know all the back roads where the cops don't patrol so they can stop and get high like teenagers. And even that seems to make them incredibly cautious, but Cersei at least has never been to Winterfell, and it's highly doubtful Jaime has either, since he and Ned fucking hate each other. My point, having this forced sex scene between two people who've been fucking for over 20 years on the regular requires one to suspend all disbelief, which makes it a stupid moment in writing. Again, what this scene wrought leads into a huge part of what the entire epic story is, full of peril and tragedy and triumph and general great and terrible things. But neither of these characters know Winterfell. Neither of them know if its location is actually private. Neither of them know if they'll be safe. What do they know? The Starks hate Jaime more than managers at Target hate Black Lives Matter protests. That Robert hates his wife and Jaime and generally hates the Lannisters about as much as he does the Targaryens. And come on, I'll reiterate. They've been fucking for over 20 years, already had 3 kids. You date a chick for 6 months and you're down to once a week. But suddenly you're so turned on for round number 10,080 that you'll risk your lives. One could argue that it's this sort of excitement that makes them all so horned up. And for a teenage new love, I reckon I'd kind of buy that. This is just a plot device, however, used to set up the rest of the story. I'll say again, the rest of the story is epic, but how this catalyst moment was set up is unbelievably stupid because it's unbelievable. All right, look, y'all got to calm down a bit if you're thinking about raging on me here. I found like 5 stupid things in the pilot of a TV show. The casual observer can find 55 things wrong in the first 10 minutes of one of the season 8 shows. I'm not saying these are bad at all. These first few seasons were incredibly epic. I just want to point out that there's some stupid shit here too that most people ignore because it's Georgia source material. It's not as if this show didn't have its fair share of bonehead moments and poor storytelling. They were just canceled out by the juxtaposition of everything else being so awesome. If you like this, keep your eyes peeled for episode 2 stupid shit. We're going in.